Hey y'all, Stacy here. Welcome to another warmer watch, this time with the Gourd warmer. Now, if this is your first time joining me for a warmer watch, my name is Stacy. I do use mostly 25 watt and up Scentsy warmers. As I am an independent Scentsy consultant, my warmers are typically on for 15 hours a day, and warmer watch is just the process that I take my personal warmers through to make sure that I'm completely satisfied with them within the 30-day guarantee that Scentsy offers with their warmers. Now, there's no guarantee that what I'm looking for in a warmer is what you're looking for, or that this is the way the warmer should or will work in your home. But I'm just taking you along on my decision making journey. Now, this pumpkin has a beautiful lid. I'm really delighted with the bronze patina on that lid. And then we also have a 4 cube warmer dish, which I love, and a 20 watt bulb, which is not my favorite, but also, you guys, I noticed I have silica packs in there. I need to remember to take those out before I turn this on. But let's take a look at the outside really quickly, because I do want to point out that this is a very textured pumpkin. It's not smooth on the outside. It is definitely mosaic on top of glass, from my opinion. And if you can see, this mortar actually is quite bumpy. There are little flecks of glass that are inside of the mortar that are going to just sparkle like no tomorrow when I turn this on. It's gorgeous. But I do love a mosaic warmer. Now, this does have the notch out for the cord, so that's one of my favorite things. I love when warmers do not have like little ball feet. They sit flat and sturdy on whatever surface that you've placed them on. Oop, you guys excuse me. Somebody is knocking on the door. I will be right back. Okay, y'all, I am back and I have removed those silica packets. So let's go ahead and turn this thing on. Now, this is a toggle switch, which is pretty typical with most Scentsy warmers. And when we turn it on, oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. I'm not sure how it's going to communicate on camera, but I hope you can see that there are these larger pieces of glass, but there are also these tiny little speckles of glass inside what I would call the mortar on this mosaic that just bring something so magical when this is illuminated. It's just stunning to me. I love this little warmer. I do love mosaics though, you guys. I love that it sits flat, and I think it's very well designed. So aesthetically, I'm a happy camper. I will just remind you though, mosaics are a style that is irregular in design by nature. Now, I am going to take 1 cube of this, have some more pumpkin, um, which is October scent of the month, and place it in this little warmer dish here. And then I'm going to time how long it takes for this warmer to melt this cube of wax. I am also going to then see at the end what temperature this warmer achieves. Now, these are just the results for this warmer in my home on this day. So again, there's no guarantee that this is the way that the warmer should work or will work in your home. Now, I have already melted this scent in my home, and I will talk to you more about the review. Now, I am going to leave you, I don't think I'm going to put the lid on, but I am going to step away and move this to a time lapse video so that we can kind of speed the process up. With a 20 watt warmer, I think this could take upwards of 45 minutes, just to be honest. We will see how this goes. I will join you in voiceover and let you know, but usually my warmer watch videos are under about 10 minutes. And the way that I do that is I put it in time lapse. You'll see a little clock down at the bottom, and that clock will tell you the real time. All right, guys, I am back from the future, and this is me in voiceover while we're in time lapse. That clock in the bottom, you can see, is showing you the actual time that has lapsed. I will just talk a little bit about the warmer and the warmer performance. I'm going to save the temperature and the time for the end when I come back live, but I will just tell you that this did outperform my expectations on both time and temperature. And at the beginning of this melt, I had no expectation that was going to be the case, because probably even up until 5 minutes into this, which right now we're at the 3 minute mark, I was not smelling this fragrance in the space. And this is Have Some More Pumpkin, which is the October scent of the month. And I got a bar of this early in the whiff box that I've already melted in my open concept. And I was really surprised and a little bit concerned that at the 5 minute mark I couldn't smell it, because this is a fragrance that fills the space completely when I use it in my primarily 25 watt warmers. So I had a little bit of pause, but as we got closer to the 10-minute mark of the melting, I could smell it in the space and kind of my concerns were eased about performance. But this honestly is a warmer that just is a beauty to me from an aesthetic perspective. So, because of that, I don't necessarily need it to be a top performing warmer, but it's always a nice to have. Like, it's good if it can be both decor and be a warmer that I feel like I can melt any kind of wax in. And I do feel like this is a warmer that can do just that for me in my home, at least. I did already do a full review on the Have S'more pumpkin bar when I melted it after I got it in the whiff box, and I wanted to talk to you just a bit about it. Now, to me, I struggle with the s'more component of the title because honestly, I don't pick up any graham cracker. I don't pick up any chocolate. I know it's a cute, like word choice, but to me, it doesn't feel relevant to the melting experience of this bar. And that is always sort of a shame to me if a wax bar kind of sets your expectation for something that it isn't. Now, for me, fortunately, with this scent, I am delighted with its performance and its presentation. I do think that the things that delight me may not be delightful to everyone. So, I'm going to talk specifically about what I like about the scent and do a little bit of comparison. Now, I feel like we've had a lot of pumpkin. We have brown butter pumpkin in the catalog. We have the Pumpkin Dream that's a new release. We have Spooky but Sweet. But to me, this is a distinctly different pumpkin. It leans closer to a brown buttered pumpkin to me, but it is also a little creamier and has a little bit more of the rich body that Spooky but Sweet has. Here's the problem for me and Spooky But Sweet. You may need to mute this if you love Spooky But Sweet, but if you watched my reviews on that when it was a scent of the month, it is not really a scent that I can melt in my home because for some folks in my house, it smells like radiator fluid. And there's just a heaviness and a boldness in that scent that is unrelenting. And for me, this scent does not have that. It has that richness while still having this kind of light air to it that doesn't make it pervasive in the space and it doesn't have any sort of a burnt sugar note, which I feel like Spooky But Sweet certainly does. So for me, I'm delighted with it. It reminds me very much of a former scent of the month, I believe, which was called Warm Pumpkin Drizzle. And that was delightful, and I could melt that all over my home. So I'm really excited because I feel like there's a little bit more richness to this than exists in brown butter pumpkin. I'm not a fan of the new Pumpkin Dream, and Spooky But Sweet is a non-starter in my house. So I'm very pleased with this. It is a one-day scent, I will say. I do not get at all into the second day. I usually keep my warmers on for about 15 hours a day. But it's a beautiful day, and everybody in my home enjoys this. And I've also been able to partner melt it with orange spice and everything nice, and cranberry and cardamom, and get some really beautiful, kind of more layered, complex scents that I think the boldness that exists in this allow for me a little more easily. Like I do also melt like pumpkin roll and brown butter pumpkin with orange scents and cranberry scents, but there is something to the richness of this that provides a different tone to any of the other pumpkin scents that I am able to melt in my home. Now, I will say, like for me, Spooky But Sweet is just not a scent that I can partner melt with very well at all, even if I could melt it in my home, but I can't because it's not palatable to everybody. But there are other examples of scents that I understand, like you want to just put the scent in, have the scent, and enjoy it. For me, this is one of those scents, but it is also a scent that layers and is fun to play with, and that's just delightful for me. I love scents that are beautifully blended and you just pop them in and go. But because I melt so frequently, I think, and it's just also my kind of preference, I like scents that I can take different journeys with, I guess would be a way to say it. And one of my favorite journeys is pumpkin and orange mixed together, which is why I will stay shocked that I do not like Pumpkin Dream, which is one of the 10 new release bars. If you watched my 10 new release videos, to me that leans a little bit more citric acid, and it just was a fairly unbearable scent for me. And I remain shocked about that. But I'm so pleased with this pumpkin because I have this richer tone. It is one that I feel like I can melt with all sorts of different orange scents and get it dialed into exactly where I prefer it. And so I'm thrilled with it. We're getting right to the end of this, so I will join you live in a moment. All right, you guys, I am back, and it looks like we are somewhere between 30 and 35 minutes on melting this, which I am really surprised. That happened faster than I thought. I feel like we got off to a pretty slow start. But let's take a look at the temperature here. I can say this wax is performing beautifully in the space. It's throwing nicely. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty great for a 20 watt. So it looks like we're at an average of 141, and it looks like the high point is 148. I'm not sure if I'm in frame and you can see that. I feel really good about this temperature with these 20-watt bulbs. Sometimes they can be around 130, 135 for me. So the fact that right now we're already at like 141 at average, 148 at the max of the pool, that seems like a really great temperature for me. And because this is a mosaic warmer, I do wonder if it will continue to warm up a little bit and hold on to heat the longer that it sits. But only time will tell that story. Thank you guys so much for spending this time with me. If you enjoy this kind of content, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that we can stay in touch. I would also really love to hear your thoughts on the warmer, the Golden Gourd warmer, any of the pumpkins from this year, and also any of the pumpkin scents. Like, what are your thoughts on all the pumpkins that we've gotten this year? Thanks for watching.